Welcome to Excel tables. Now, a table in Excel is just a way of grouping a set of data together, and along with that grouping, you get an extra set of tools. So you can turn any set of data, any range of information into a table, and having done that, we then inherit a whole new pack of tools that enable us to work with that table to help speed us up. If we take our contacts extract A, and we think this is a good little candidate to be a table in Excel, there are two ways really of turning that data into a table. You simply place your cursor anywhere within it, go to Insert on the ribbons, and then Table. Now, if Excel has spotted where your data is stored, it will pick up the whole range of the table. And we can see there, where is the data for your table? A1 to AE101, which is correct. My table has headers. Yes, it does. That's method number one, and I would click OK, and that now becomes a table. Now, you can instantly spot it's a table for two reasons. One is each of your columns get little drop-down arrows on the top. Two, when you're in the table, you get your set of table tools. So there's a whole separate ribbon here with a whole lot of options. And if you click outside the table, just to prove it's the table causing that, you'll find that that set of options then disappears. That's how you can spot that you're in a table. Now, if I do undo on that creation, there is a second method, and that is to again click into the data anywhere you like, and you can do Control-T on the keyboard. T for table, nice logical shortcut. And you'll find that that also managed to spot where your data is stored, A1 to A101. Notice it's absolutely saved the table reference with the dollars. My table has headers. Just before I click OK, if it happens to have missed a column, which it can do if you've got a totally blank column before some more data, not a problem. You can click the Browse button and go and then highlight the actual range that you want to become a table. Then click OK. I'm now in a table. I've got a whole set of table tools up here that we're going to explore. I've got automatic drop-down arrows on the top of each of my column headers. And what you'll also find when you scroll up and down is that the top row has already been stuck as well. It's effectively frozen the pane of the header. Now, it might not appear to be immediately super clever, but as we progress through this particular chapter, I'm sure that you too will fall in love with Excel tables. Just before we move on to the first thing, which is formatting, just want to demonstrate a little idea here. Now, your table, when you create them, they're given names in Excel, and the first table you create will be called Table 1, the second Table 2, the next Table 3, etc. From within your table, on the Table Tools ribbon, you can see the table name up here. So this one's currently Table 3. Now, I don't need to stick with that. I can call my table whatever I want. I'm going to delete Table 3. I'm going to call my table Contacts. So I then know what the table contains. Having given my table a sensible name, you could still work with the default name, I can now reference columns within this table for use in other formulas perhaps. If I create a new sheet and I wanted to, let's say for example, count how many customers were here, then in here I can say equals count, open brackets. I can reference the table by putting the table name, and you can see it appears in the drop list because Excel knows I have a table called contacts, but I don't want to count the whole table. I want to count a particular column. So I use square brackets. Just opening the square bracket then gives me a list of all the columns in my table. I want the customer ID. I close the square brackets. I close the round brackets. And when I press return, it will count how many people exist in the contacts table. And it says there are 100, which if I remember rightly is the correct number. There we are. It goes to 101. Take off that row for the headers and it is 100. I can do that with any functions. If, for example, I wanted to add up the total purchase YTD, here, say equals sum, open brackets, the name of the table, which it will find as soon as you start typing it, square brackets. I don't even need to know what that column's spelt like. I just need to find it in the list, total purchase YTD, close square brackets, close round brackets, return, and the total purchase YTD is 379,906.7. So that's just a nice little insight and a plus for having tables in Excel. So you create the table from a set of data. That doesn't have to be a large set of data or a small set of data. Any set of data will do. Control-T is the keyboard shortcut, or insert and table. That then by default makes your top row, if it is headers, fixed and gives you the little drop-down arrows, which we've already seen previously as filtering options and sorting options. So we've got those to explore. You then would possibly give the table a sensible name more than table X, where X is a number from 1 to however many tables you've created. which you can then use inside formulas. So I can reference the table and the columns within that table in any other formula in any other sheet, and therefore carry out some mathematical functions on the data contained in my table. So let's get on and look at exploring our tables in a little more depth.